attack the basket. James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Boom shakalaka!
G'day everyone and welcome to the Insight NBA Show. I am at NBA G Wiz and this is my guy at Skiddy IFS. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, I'm going well, G Wizzle. As many people know, it's 7 a.m. currently in Australia, so we are just waking up. But that coffee is going down nicely. So cheers to everyone watching along with us.
Cheers to you, Skiddy. A bit of a chink and cheers for you. It's I was thinking of a really fun thing to say about, like, you know, when you do an introduction to someone, like the man who would be the dad of the year if he had a kid or something, because you just scream great dad energy. I was going to say something like the man who could just put a team on his back and carry him, even if it takes him making 44 shots.
Oh, wow. Goodness me.
You could just, but then I'm like, that just sounds greedy to take 44 shots. So I didn't say it, but I want to get your feedback. Twice in the last week, DeJounte Murray and the Atlanta Hawks coming back from a ridiculous deficit the other day. Like, that was a ridiculous 30
points. Jesus.
Like, that was whoo-wee. But to come back, like, just to play yesterday against the Celtics, my question is this one. Oh, look, he is right here. And also, Matt Carmody in chat. What up, fellas? Matty, can you answer a question that's been hot on everybody's lips? Are you in our Discord server yet, Carmody, or are you on X? Because we want to make sure that we get you into our Discord, by the way. So, Matty, messages today, let us know. We'll sort you out. We'd love all your feedback you do. Are the Boston Celtics, can they win the East, or are we starting to see some chinks in the armor?
No, I think they can still win the East pretty comfortably. Look, it's against the same side twice. I mean, yesterday they pretty much had a full team aside from Al Horford, but that first game they had, it was either Tatum or Brown, and then I think Porzingis also out. So, it was bloody impressive by the Atlanta Hawks yesterday, and especially doing it like, pretty depleted roster as well, where they pretty much had, obviously DeJounte had 44 shots and scored 44 points. DeAndre Hunter, 21 and 13 rebounds or something like that. It was impressive. So, I either way, Hawks have got their number 2 times now, but, what are the chances of the Hawks making it into the playoffs is not high at the moment.
Not good.
So, but, if they can make it to if they can make it into that 8th seed and they verse Boston, geez, that would be hilarious if Boston get knocked off by Atlanta after how dominant they've been all year.
By the Atlanta Hawks. That would be actually just a nice little bit of justice. And looking at the standings right now over in the East, the Atlanta Hawks have got that spot pretty much clinched for the play-in tournament. So there's going to be the 8-9 playoff. That's pretty much we're looking right now at Chicago and Atlanta. That's pretty much where it's going to shake out at this point. So we're looking at those guys. Then we're looking at Miami and Philly. That's really tentative, with Indiana just being 2 games ahead of them down the stretch. And I think this is where we can start to look, Skiddy, like the stretch run of the games for these teams who are in contention is actually going to impact fantasy basketball. Who's playing more minutes? Our superstars again. It kind of gets a little bit harder to ride the waiver wire in that regard, because like the Atlanta Hawks, they've gone on Boston twice this week. They had the easy one on the back-to-back the night before Portland, but then they got the Milwaukee Bucks. And next week, in week 23, to start off, they actually play who they could be up against, the Chicago Bulls, on Monday. So that's a game to watch. So you're going to expect to see these guys like Bruno Fernando to get minutes. Anyone else there you've been liking? Vit? Anyone else from the Hawks we could keep our eye on?
My main man was DeAndre Hunter that I picked up as soon as everyone else went down for them. I don't really like much else for them, in fairness, unless you're like looking for threes and you could go, where's Matthews or something along those lines. I mean, Krejci, had a couple of good games, so you could have a look at him there, but it's just like, you're going to get what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, you're going to get. Oh, well, wait, there you go. I'm not in the Discord yet, but I'll get on that and make sure you do get on that on the link below. If you don't know what we're talking about, the Discord community is absolutely humming along with AFL and RL content. The link is in the show below. Carmody, send me a DM. Send me a DM over on. We were going to give one away. We were going to give a one away during the course of the season. Matty, instead of paying the 25 Australian, I'm all for it being him, Skiddy.
Mate, I'm so down for it. He's been in here supporting us since God knows how long. So yeah, no, I don't think it could go to a better bloke.
I don't think so either. We were talking like this. We've got to get this guy on the Discord. So Matty Carmody, please DM me on X. I will get your details. We will get you into the Discord and we will get you in the community because we want it to be absolutely humming along. Newsletters next season, everything NBA. But if you like your AFL and NRL, this beautiful man's face beside me leads that on up with Mickey Dell and Herbie. And it's going great guns there. First question of the day as well. Do you guys think Jokic is in danger of missing 1 or 2 games this week? Or is it more likely he'll rest next Tuesday game against San Antonio? Same question with Garland. Look, I don't think – we were just talking about this. You answer the Garland thing first because you are the man on the street with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I don't think Garland rests just because of how tight it is in the East. I think if it's how it's going to sit now, currently Cleveland are 4th with them playing Orlando in round 1 as they're sitting as the 5th seed. And I would say that if Orlando do catch the Cavs or like make it close, there's no way Garland would sit because they would not want to give up home field advantage to Orlando. So I would expect him to play. I know he's been taking a shitload of the workload and Donovan's meant to be back today. So, I mean, there's always a chance, but I would say it's more on the unlikely side that Garland would sit.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to go out here and say I know that he's done it in the past, but this is when the Denver Nuggets have been the preeminent best team in the NBA. And although they are one of the best teams in the NBA, the best team this year is the Boston Celtics, 57 wins currently, and the Nuggets are on 51. But you need to have a look at what's happening underneath of them. Right behind them is Minnesota on 50, OKC on 50. Now, that puts you into a honey trap of whoever slides down, whoever can get the more wins. It's a race, I think, between these guys because although they've been kind of not as great of late, the Clippers are a dangerous basketball team. The Clippers are a dangerous basketball team. And if you get yourself into 3rd, if you finish there, your first round matchup, 3 versus 4, you've got the Los Angeles Clippers sitting there. So I don't think we see Jokic rest. They've already had Murray banged up. I think we can get through the rest of the season pretty much with Jokic doing what he needs to do for this team and them getting the wins where they need, because that's going to be chaos in the West for that 3rd place there. And it's also, let's be honest, the Houston Rockets, I put your boy Jalen Green on the cover today.
Yeah.
I put him on.
They're rolling.
They are up to 10 straight. The Warriors have won the last 2. Had the Warriors just lost one of those, there's one game directly behind them. So it's 2 more games to overtake. And that's a chance.
I can't remember who's winning the matchup this year. I'm going to check that out because I want to, if Houston
they play against each other head to head this week.
Yeah, they do.
They play against each other. I don't know the week. Do you want to check the weekly series? I know what time. I think it's 2 or 1 or. No, I think it's 2. They play them on Thursday this coming week. They play them on the 5th of April. I've got it scheduled as like a game that I'm going to have on the 5th of April, on Thursday the 5th, because if that can flip it, that brings it back to that one game like deadline rubber if they have equal records through. Or if beforehand, the only thing is the strength of schedule for the Golden State Warriors is better. They play Dallas twice next week though, but Utah at the tail end, where Houston has, this is their lineup. They've got Minnesota, Miami, and Dallas. So Dallas plays both of these teams next week. It gets a little bit of risky over in the West. It's going to be one. Yeah,
absolutely. It is very, very, very weird. Golden State currently are up 2-0 against the Rockets in their matchups this year. So they have
that means 2 to go.
What's that?
2 to go.
Yeah, 2 to go. So Houston would have to win both if it is a tie, and then it goes down to some other bullshit.
and mathematical equations and things like that we don't care about in fantasy. No, Cameron, we truly do appreciate you when we get the comments and the feedback and you jump in and chat with us, man. We're happy to. Just make sure you DM me on X and we can sort you out, Carmody. Please, we'll get you that premium. And a question from you, which you can ask, like when you're on this, access to the experts, DM us. If Aiden is out again, I need to pick up a center. Who do you like out of Draymond, WCJ, and Reith? Head-to-head points. Up big in my semifinals, and I would be dropping Najee Marshall. I'm in the same position where I'm about to drop Najee Marshall today as well. Just want to firm up some rebounds. I'm probably going to pick up Reith, but this is in a 20-man league, to be honest. So I would look as that as my option. I might just do it now. Who do you like?
Well, I also have Najee Marshall, but I'm keeping Najee for tomorrow because it's a low games played day with only 3. So, and the Pelicans are one of them. So definitely holding Najee for tomorrow. But when it comes to one of those centers, Carter Jr. is probably the best for points leagues out of the most, but Reith can get a good runway. And then Drummond, okay. So Drummond's versing the Timberwolves, which if they go Nas Reed and Rudy Gobert starting lineup, Drummond will start next to Vooch, and he could actually get a shitload of rebounds and some points. So keep an eye out, Matty. I wouldn't do it yet, but if you need to make a move for that Chicago versus Timberwolves game, which is on Sunday, then I'd be leaning Drummond if it's Reed and Gobert as a big lineup.
And the Magic here as well, they have 2 games. So Chicago for the rest of the week, you're obviously looking at guys with 2 games. Today it's New York and Orlando. So you want to get 2 games out of the center spot. I'm reading company. Let me just put my hand around the crystal ball. You want a 2-for-1 special with Najee only having 1 game back. So you're looking to pick that up to consolidate rebounds and some field goal percentage as well. So I know it's a points-based league. New York Knicks today and the Orlando Magic. Thank you, Bubba Love. Hey, Skiddy, by the way. Hey, I just had a special delivery. Look what it is. I got it. I got the hot cross
good
with jam on top.
Okay.
Yep. But this, I digress on that one because we'll touch on that because we do have a big game slate. So the Bulls do have New York and Orlando. The Orlando Magic, though, conversely, they have a pretty good one today. They've got the Charlotte Hornets and then the Chicago Bulls, as we spoke about before. The Trailblazers, though, that's the one you want to keep your eye on. The second game of this won't be as great. It's against the Boston Celtics on the Monday. But today, they do play the Washington Wizards. And Duop Reith could absolutely feast. And that's why I'm curious to watch this lineup. You need to make it before your lineup day begins. I'd probably say Wendell Carter Jr., like Skiddy said. But if we find out late that Ayton is out, I think he can with the back-to-backs. With it not being a back-to-back set, we could get some value out of that one there. So, spot on. Yep, okay, that's exactly what you're looking for, a 2-for-1 special, as we should always buy when it's on sale.
Absolutely.
Don't buy full price. Skiddy, should we do the game preview? Let's do the game preview. Let's get it.
He's heating up.
And let's get money in the bank. Can I just say, we were absolutely on fire with our picks last week in the Heat Check multi. I thought we had an absolute corker of a week. We only lost out on 3 of the 12 legs, and they were ones that we didn't expect to see coming as well. Like, we didn't expect to see that. We lost out on only 3 points on GG Jackson. Fair enough. GG let us down, but the Miami Heat losing against the Pels when they were to play the back-to-back set. The Pels have been on a run lately. We should have just trusted the Pelicans. We should have just trusted the Pels. But
Not
GG Jackson and the Spurs, they went down by 2 points as well. So we lost by 2 points and 2 points to GG. Thank you, GG. Thank you, Memphis. And the Heat, but not in Miami. This is what I mean. But today we start off with the action. Detroit versus Washington. Questionable is Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. Jalen Duren is off the injury report and playing. Quentin Grimes continues to be out, and Simone Fontecchio is still out here. And as you said, Skiddy, it is a massive game of action today. It's 12.
Yep.
It's 12 games of action before 3 on that low volume Saturday, which you mentioned for the Pels. And then we pick it back up on Sunday for 10. And to answer your question, the only one here, Carmody, I'm going to actually say this, Carmody, can you go a 2-for-1? Because the Orlando Magic are the only team with a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday. So if you are in a points league, you might want to bring in Wendell Carter Jr., like Skiddy said. That's a great shout. And then you could why not roll into Duop Reith or Drummond Drummond, you said on Monday would be perfect. Go 2-for-1. 2-for-1 special at Skiddy.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, if he also said that he's up big in the semifinals, so hopefully he can make the right moves just to hold that lead at the end. So that's good. But then when we look at the Wizards side of things, so Rashawn Holmes is now out, Tyus Jones out, Omarui is out, and Landry Shamet out. So that means it's going to be big for Marvin Bagley. Could actually, even though it's a big game day today, Bagley could actually do pretty well.
Revenge game?
I guess revenge game. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. I mean, Durham will probably kick his ass, so that'll be nice.
Durham will be alive.
Guys to pick up. I mean, Kispert for the Wizards, that could be an all right source for threes. This is only if you do have that spare roster spot. I know it's 12 games, so there's probably not going to be much chance. But you just never know. And then I can't believe that Chimezi Meto is the starting spot in Detroit. That's unreal. But
that is unreal.
These GTDs for Detroit are kind of annoying because, if Cade's out, then you'd expect better for Jaden. But if Jaden's out, you'd expect better for Cade. And then if they're both out, then Marcus Sasser would be the go. But then Marcus Sasser is also game time. So it's just like, who the hell do you go there? So, but if all three of them are out, shit, I like the Wizards to win that.
Yeah, 100%. And look, they have been playing a lot better lately for what you could say. Not great basketball, but Jordan Poole just seems to have figured out some offense. Denny Adby has been a great stream. Corey Kispert was a great stream this week. He all of a sudden discovered how to shoot free throws again the week after I dropped him and rolled into someone else. Thanks very much, Corey. We love that for you and your journey. Thank you, Corey. I have 3 ads left. Processes one day later. Only 6 of 10 playing on Sunday. Should I save all 3 for Sunday or use one of my ads to pick up Ellis right now and then wait? Go on for points, threes, and steals. Yeah, just get Ellis. If it takes one day to process, you need to get it now before the game, I would say, to take advantage of that Keon Ellis run. Because they play on Saturday and then they play Friday and then on Monday. They got Dallas and Utah. I would use that now. If you're looking for those, that's what he brings. Yeah, they play tomorrow. Yeah, on the Friday. So they play. I'd go. The Kings, they play today.
Yeah, right. But he's saying it takes a day.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you won't get him.
No, he won't get him. So he must be picking up Alice for Sunday.
Yep.
Which, that's a pretty good source of points, threes, and steals. But I'm just going to have to look up who else plays on that day. So it's, so they've got the Utah Jazz, which is nice. But then, if you need points, threes, Tim Hardaway's there for the Mavericks against the Rockets. Yep. We got Alex Caruso will be there against the Timberwolves if you want to go Caruso.
Nets. The Nets, the Mavericks, the Nuggets. Not really anyone there. Not Warriors, Clippers. You could be looking at Norm Powell. Norm Powell's a nice points for points, threes, and again get a steal or 2 per game as well on the Sunday
Martin for the Heat, maybe.
Yep, Minnesota Timberwolves, Jaden McDaniels, or if you can get McDaniels, he's been shooting well lately. But the starters minutes, I think Keon might be one of the best goes there.
Keon definitely might be one of the best goes there. In fairness, so if Micic for the Hornets is still on your wire, then that could be a go as well. I know he's against the Clippers, but he's doing stuff at least. Mate. Those are the guys that I'd be looking at. But Keon Ellis is definitely one of the best ones to be getting if you're trying to get someone for that Sunday.
Just like we said with the 12 game as well, Skiddy, you just answered one for the next question. Our next game on the docket, I don't want to bet on Detroit versus Washington. That's
neither.
That is just
the only thing I will take and be able to be convinced on is Jalen Duren a double-double. That is the only thing I will take. He's going up against Bagley. There's obviously Wizards have the highest pace in the NBA, so there'll probably be a lot of shots and a lot of missed shots. Duren a lot of rebounds. He should kick Bagley's ass.
All right, so double market. Here we go. Player performance double markets. We are going for player performance double markets. Record a double. Jalen Duren at $1.36.
Mm-hmm.
It is on there. I did it. I bet on a Detroit Piston.
Nice.
Look at that. We're growing and developing, Skiddy. We've got the Clippers versus the Orlando Magic on this one today. Clippers are favorites, $1.74 up against the Magic, $2.10. Markel Fultz is questionable. Gary Harris is off the injury report. They have, look, for a great team, they haven't been playing very well. The Clippers, like here, as we said before, for points, threes, and steals, love Norm Powell. Absolutely love Storm Norman Powell in this role. That's one we can look for there. I say at least 2 threes this game for him would be a nice little shout for Norman. Bit Normie, but I'm also looking for a very big bounce back game from Kawhi Leonard. He was disappointing his last, not his usual effectiveness or efficiency. Usually when Kawhi has an off game, he has a very good game the next game. He is going to be matched up against Jonathan Isaac, though. And so this is where Jonathan Isaac is going to rotate towards him or Paul George in their scheme. Because I don't think they'll use. We know that they're going to roll out Jalen Suggs as an on-ball defender and at that high point of offensive attack against the Clippers. I reckon this is actually going to be a really good game.
Yep, I can see that too. I'm not confident on betting anything in this game, but Wendell Carter would probably be the main pickup here. It's good to see Isaac actually getting those increased minutes and having that really good game the other day. That was really, really good to see. I think it's going to be a really good matchup, and it's just one of those games where you kind of just go, I'd rather just watch this one than bet on it, because it could be a defensive class, because it can also be a very slow pace. Both teams have shown that they like to have slow pace. I don't even like to try bet in this game, Matty G, because I can see there being a blowout on that one. So on either end, really, because the Clippers have been shit, but they belted the Magic last time. Magic can be good, but Magic can also be shit. We've seen many times before where the Magic's scoring has been like just off and completely altered, and then they just have no way of getting it out. So that's the way I look at it there. And pickup wise, I'm just nothing really in this game. I think it's going to be mostly dominated by the Stars and how they're going.
I would absolutely 100% agree with you. Yes, Skidmore. The one thing that I love in the next one here is the Los Angeles Lakers in the Indiana Pacers. They did play earlier this week, so we have some recency bias here. The Pacers are favored at home against the Lakers. They're both playing well. The Lakers are on a little bit of a trot, starting to get some steam, hopefully playing for the 6th spot. I think they've got a chance at it if you look at the way it breaks down, but $1.48 favorites to the Pacers is quite heavy for the $2.66 Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron and AD are both questionable.
Oh, shock.
Yep, I know. Shock, bloody horror. Like you just love to see it. I don't know. Who are you going here, Skiddy?
You can take whatever you like for your points and rebounds and stuff, Matty G, because it's probably going to be another high-scoring game with the Pacers and the Lakers. So there's a good chance of that. So I'll let you take what you want on that one.
All right.
I mean, shit. I don't really like the head-to-head, and I don't like a try bet on it either, just because it can be so high-scoring. And if one team goes cold, then it's just like, well, what do you do there? I'd feel more confident in taking the Pacers if Davis didn't play, but you just don't know until right at the start, because it's the Lakers and their injury reporting is a pain in the ass and an absolute joke. So
it is.
Yeah, that's why I read it.
What about $1.10? LeBron James 6 assists.
Yeah, if you want, mate.
I'll go that one. I'll go LeBron, but I'll go LeBron that one. TJ McConnell. Oh, not looking for that one. Who's your favorite for points, Skiddy? Who would you be looking for? Who's advantageous for points today?
Depends on the price market, but I like D'Lo's matchup, and I like Anthony Davis if he plays.
Let's go D'Lo for over 14.5 at $1.27, which I think is actually quite good value.
Okay.
over that $1.20. All right, done.
Yeah,
Let's get on to the next one.
Good.
Golden State and Charlotte. We're a third of the way through. Jonathan Kuminga is questionable. Bertans probable. Dario Saric also questionable here, but he has fallen out of the rotation. Like here, Trace Jackson Davis as a pickup of rebounds and a source there, and some points off the bench for these guys. Expected to be starting Draymond Green and playing that small ball center today with Nick Richards rolling out. Grant Williams off the bench has been a reliable source of points, rebounds, and some threes as well for Charlotte. Micic, you pointed out, has been great for steals and threes as well lately. Brandon Miller went off the other night.
Bloody oath he did. Nice cheeky 31. So he looked pretty good, and you can get these hot games. So he'll probably play like shit today. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that, which is going to be good.
The only thing I was going to say here is, do you think Steph is going to have a great Steph game being back in his hometown of Charlotte?
I just like the Warriors to win this game. I just think they're just going to win, and that's all I really put this down to, is that the Warriors are going to beat the Charlotte Hornets.
And I think Steph is going to, just on my thing, I think Steph's going to go for plus 30. I'm seeing a plus 30 game for him. That's me. I won't put it in.
If you want to chuck it in, chuck it in, because the Hornets defense is shit out. So fine by me, mate.
All right, I'm going to go 25 points plus, because he's been cold lately. He's been very cold, and I think if he's going to do a comeback game, this is it. And this could stuff it up entirely. He always plays well in Charlotte.
Why do you always bank on a guy like after having a shit one and like a few shit ones? So they're obviously on a cold streak, and you're just like, no, they're always bouncing back. They're always bouncing back. And
they have. The last two times I've called the bounce back games, they've come through. But this is Steph Curry in Charlotte. No, you said that was a good one because he'd been playing all right. He'd been scoring averages. I just thought GG was going to get it. Like, it's a gangster San Antonio Spurs. He took enough shots. He just didn't hit them. Their defense was basically porous, apart from that one big bloke from France in the middle. Jesus.
He didn't play, though.
He didn't play, this is the thing. Apart from them, where's the defense in San Antonio? Where is it?
Sohan's all right.
Yeah. One guy.
Well, they beat the Suns the other day.
That was a great win, by the way. We've had some, again, this has been one of those silly season weeks where those Hawks coming back from 30 points, the Spurs beating the Suns, crazy things. Who would you rather have in a points league, man or Micic? Micic.
Which man? Trey Man or
I think he's talking
Terrence?
Trey Man. I think, is it Trey? Are we just talking the Charlotte Hornets here, Carmody?
Either way, I like Micic over both.
Yeah, agreed. Next one up, Chicago and Brooklyn. Dosunmu and Caruso are probable. I like Chicago for the win over. They just seem hapless lately, the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think they're going anywhere fast. I like Chicago here, and I think Mikal Bridges 15 plus points would be the only thing points-wise I'm looking at. But DeMar DeRozan, maybe side tickle. But you like rebounds for Vucevic.
No, I don't like rebounds for Vucevic.
No?
Come up against Claxton. Claxton's pretty athletic about it. So I'd say that. I think Caruso will probably get the matchup on Cam Thomas, which will allow Bridges to be able to score a bit more. So I do like his shout of Mikal there. I don't have any confidence in Chicago winning this game, even though they definitely should, seeing as the Nets are pretty much out of play-in contention. So, but I still have no faith in Chicago. So I do like either Kobe White for points, maybe a few there, because I don't think the Nets have enough defense, and Kobe White can get hot from shooting downtown, as the Nets don't have any perimeter defense, but they do have pretty good interior defense. So that's why I don't like Vooch for points. DeRozan, I can kind of get around if he can get his game flowing early, because he'll be able to work that mid-range. He'll probably get the matchup of Dorian Finney-Smith, but I don't have too much of a worry about that. But I'm happy with your Bridges take for pickups, though. I'll just go with Caruso. It's safe. We know what we're going to get from him. Probably about 500 shooting, maybe a 3, couple of steals, maybe a block. And he's just just does what we need solidly. So that's where I lean with that. And then for Brooklyn, I mean, Cam Johnson's out. So if you need points, Cam Thomas is there. He's probably going to hurt your field goal. But, those points are valuable from someone like Cam.
I actually like Dennis Schroeder as well. As Matrix would say, you'll be a Dennis Schroeder owner. You can get some steals there, but he will contribute some points, some threes, and assists as well. At least more assists, like you said, than Cam Thomas, because Cam just hasn't met a shot that he hasn't liked before. So he's going to keep on popping those ones. The next game as well, Philadelphia and Cleveland. We've got questionable on your boy Donovan Mitchell, my guy this year, who I loved, and my guy here on the end of my season in a couple of leagues because I went heavy on Mitchell. I love Mitchell. Garland is probable as well.
Yep.
I did have the strategy, Skiddy, when asked the other day, and Carmody, you might want to check this out if you've got 2 ads left. Because they have 2 games, if you want to lock down rebounds, field goal percentage, blocks as well, you could look to lock down Mo Bamba and Paul Reed if they're both available in your league. They're doing a minute split. They've both got 2 games each left for the end of the season. So you're getting 4 burns out of there, depending if you have another guy with 1 game. And that could just really put you over the top on those categories. They do play today. You'll have to see on that low volume day. But again, if you build up a strong enough lead today and you can capitalize on the Monday, that could be an option for you as well, because I think Bumba and Reed are good pickups here. Batum on the sidelines, but Buddy Hield's long gone off your wire. But your boy, though, Kelly Oubre, still on wires, Skiddy.
You're a bitch. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. That was so funny. Yeah, Oubre is a good pickup of points, threes, a lot of shots.
It kept on going on a cross pun.
Yeah, bloody oath. So no Covington and Embiid or Melton in this game. The Sixers did beat the Cavs last time without Joel as well, and they actually beat him quite well. That was without Donovan, though. So Donovan back in obviously just unlocks everything else for the Cavs. Hopefully the vert gets up as well. Yep. Jared Allen, he had a pretty solid game last time out against Reed and Mo Bamba. They will try and force the mismatches and the switches. To be able to get him going, he had 24 and 9 last time. So, but that was without Evan Mobley in the side as well, who can probably do some work against Tobias. I do like Tyrese Maxey for 20 plus though in this one. If we can get him for that, he always just turns it on because he's such a good.
We just got him for that. Do you want that? We get it.
Yeah, go for it. He's great mates with Darius Garland, and they always just jaw at each other and try and one up each other going down each end. So, and as they play quite alike, so they do try and outperform each other. So I do like Tyrese to go for 20.
I also like the matchup for Tobias Harris today. I think we've had a couple of good Tobias Harris games lately.
No,
and then I just like him I like him for this game, the way that it shapes up. But Maxey Strus coming back as well. They're starting to become healthy at the right time, the Cavs, and hopefully they can continue their playoff push here. Buddy Hield, you never know what to trust, but if he is on your wire, because this is the thing with Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
People get him, and then if he becomes available and they drop him, and when you look at his inconsistency for points lately, 7, 5, 9, 7. So that's enough to frustrate owners of Buddy Hield. They're like, I don't need him for that. He needs to be getting me at least 12 a game. He needs to be banking down these threes, get me more peripheral defense, blah, blah, blah. And they'll drop him. And then he blows up for his last game for 17. Mm-hmm. So he had a bit of a rise last game. So this is where just check your wires to see if Buddy Hield is back and available for you. And that's where you can get especially if it's just dropped off and no one's paid attention to it because no one wanted him because he's been not the greatest lately, and you could swoop in and pick up Buddy Hield in that situation. So my only advice fantasy-wise there, just check your wire, or if you want to roll that 2 big man, there you go. I actually have 3 ads left. So if you really want to get down that rebounds, that field goal percentage, and block shots and some steals, you could roll out Paul Reed and Mo Bamba for 4 games. Drop your Najee Marshall and drop another guy who's only got 1 left, who's not going to give you those Cats comedy, and you could roll it in. The next one, the Phoenix Suns and the OKC Thunder. As we said before, it is wild, wild west time. Nurkic is questionable for this game. I just like OKC to win this. I don't know if they will, but I want them to.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Thunder are 2-0 against the Suns this year, so I don't mind that shout at all. Obviously, though, it's Phoenix, so we can see an absolute uptick. But if you are telling me that you want to bank on OKC to win,
I don't want to bank on them.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is out, or he's currently not likely
Doubtful.
to play.
Yeah, he's doubtful.
Then hell no, I'll take Phoenix every single time.
I want as I said, I don't want to bet on it, but I just want OKC to win. I would love to see this team finish first of the West this year. I would love to see that.
But I don't think they can beat the Suns without Shai.
Correct, which means the number one pick up there today is Kayson Wallace.
Yes, I would agree with that. But goddamn, how good's Josh Giddey been looking
as
of late?
God.
Bloody hell, this is exactly where you wanted out of the bloke that you would have drafted around the 70th pick, and he's just absolutely turning it on. But there's a good chance that you would have dropped him earlier in the year because he was absolute shithouse and getting only 20 minutes a game. So,
or traded away peanuts on the dollar. Yeah, peanuts on the dollar. You're 100% right. The question, though, with his ticking up now to about 28, 30 minutes a night, especially with Shai being out, you could probably see him in a points league getting a lot of do we put a little bit of honey on Giddey? I don't want to think about that situation in real life, but just a little, do we just do like a nice little cheeky assist for Josh Giddey?
I would prefer to bet on someone from the Suns for assist wise, like maybe Book. If I had to do that, I'd just prefer something like that. I think the Suns can really get on top of them today. As we say hello to our man, Adam King, FBI.
Hey, King. I said, because he said morning, because I'm here in Albury, and he said, and I said, look, if you want to come on, just jump in as always, because Skiddy and I are an open book. We just love to have good people on. We're talking Phoenix and OKC today. I just want OKC to win because I would love to see them top of the West. No, it's unlikely with Shai out. Kayson Wallace is a great ad for the day and a source there. We're just talking punt-wise. I was thinking Jalen Williams or Josh Giddey, both for 4 assists each. Might be a nice way to circumvent that, but especially Giddey for 4 assists.
Yeah, I think Giddey's been really good over the last 2-3 weeks. Coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally, with all this drama off the court behind him, once that was all sort of done and dusted, he seems to have been able to focus and do what we thought he might do this season. I think, did Jalen Williams have 10 assists in the last game?
He did.
Great question.
He did. So, and we've seen this from him before. We saw this last season when Shai missed time. Jalen Williams had a couple of double-digit assist games. So, yeah, I think both, and maybe I'd lean with Jalen Williams as the preference, but I think both could be over 4. Yeah.
Yeah, he's $1.11. He's got 10, 5, and 4 the last 3. Giddey's at $1.20. He's got 4, 4, 8, 5, 8. So playing the averages there with an increased playmaking role for Giddey, possibly with Shai being out, he might uptick 1 or 2 to 6 even. But getting him at 4 for $1.20, I don't think is a bad shout. Phoenix, anyone points wise or anything you like there, Skiddy?
If Nurkic is out, then stream in Drew Eubanks if you have the ability there. But last time that the Suns played the Thunder won by 8, but Nurkic had 31 rebounds. So if Nurk plays, I do not mind Nurk over rebounds of 10 plus.
Do we think the biggest non-event of the NBA trade deadline was because we see what the Mavs gave up for Gafford? Like it was peanuts. Do we think that this would have been best served if he went to OKC? I would have loved to have seen them get some form of center or some form of big man to support Chet, because Chet is getting eaten by these bigs. Like you said, Nurkic 31. He was monster. Giannis just said, "Oh, I'm your guy getting rebounds is Chet Holmgren." Giannis absolutely destroyed him at the end of last week. Do we think that we could do we just think that OKC is missing that big man piece still?
I do. They're young anyway, so coming into the playoffs, they're a little bit inexperienced, that sort of thing. But yeah, I just don't think they've got that big body that they can put out there to protect Chet. At the moment, they don't really have another centre, so that it'll depend who they come up against in the playoffs. But yeah, I think it could be. It could be the Lakers, the Warriors. Would probably be a good matchup for them because Warriors don't really have a big centre that they're going to roll out there. But Anthony Davis, as we saw, Yusuf Nurkic, these guys are just going to monster Chet. So yeah, it's concerning. So hopefully they do sort of fix that in the off season somehow. Someone like an Andre Drummond would have been perfect, but I don't know.
Or
maybe
even
they're just
Steven Adams. I know he's injured and not playing, but he'd be so good for years to come if they were able to get him instead of the Rockets. But currently, as sitting
OKC,
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. So you're currently sitting third and looking at a first round matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. So that's not good when you come up against Dan Gafford and what Luka and him and Kyrie are able to provide. So yeah, we'll see how that all turns out. Or it could be Phoenix, or it even could be Sacramento with Domas, and Domas would eat.
Just absolutely feast. Oh, that's nice. See, Carmody, he's just a man of the people. Make sure you do send that. Do it now. I want to get off this and see that DM in on X-Men for that you and that premium. And a good show last night with D-Mac. I managed to join in spirit for a little bit of time there, especially chopping up Dame Lillard versus Steph Curry for next season. Let's chop up Portland at Miami. Do you want to take us through the ins and the outs of that one? Skidmore?
Yes, sir, mate. So Portland, Miami. Surely Miami can get the chockies here, but we'll see how the injury report goes out because there's a few probable here. So Jimmy Butler's probable, Homie Huckers Jr., Kevin Love actually might make his return, Caleb Martin are all probable, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson are both out, and for the Portland merry-go-rounds, Simon's out, Sharp's still out, Kamara's out, Brogdon's out, Grant is doubtful, Thibault and Ayton are both questionable. Right. Well,
I don't know where to go.
All the players that you could pick up from this game are shithouse and so inconsistent. Jovic seems to score 10 points in the first quarter and then does nothing for the rest of the game. Chris Murray, I don't like. Jarris Walker, maybe he's probably the one there. If Ayton's out, then we go Duop Reese, so I don't mind that. I just love seeing Bala back in the NBA, and he's doing enough in the Heat. It's weird to see him in number 88 for the Heat, but just love seeing Bala out there. So, and he's working his ass off, so good on him. So, but yeah, I'm expecting Miami to win this if all their probables do end up eventually playing. And if Ayton doesn't play, then Bam for rebounds.
Ooh, good shout. And Duop Reese then obviously becomes an ad if you need a center to fill in for that one into the void. Anyone you like there or a little punts you like in this one, Kingy? I'm trying to avoid this because I've never seen so many questionable and probable marks on both teams this far out. I'm just like, when it's that many green flags, I'm just out. Kingy?
Yeah, I'm probably not that interested, mate. Yeah, maybe Delano Banton.
I forgot about that.
He's been pretty consistent. Yeah, he seems to be playing every game. 37, 39, 33, 24. That was down a bit, but his minutes are right up there. I don't know, over in points. He's generally getting double digits, so I don't know if he's sort of what his points are.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look on Player Hub.
At least 13 or 14 points.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for him to score against the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
And they'll commit to this because, again, they're in that race in the East to actually lock down a position and not be left with the shit show in the standings over that way. We'll avoid it punt-wise. And, again, as Skiddy said earlier, Caleb Martin is a nice ad through the rest of the weekend. Homie Huckers Jr. is also an ad. Danilo Banton and Duop Reese if Ayton is out. Over to the Knicks and the San Antonio Spurs. Not a lot of question marks around here. So it's pretty much business as usual. Miles McBride is the absolute must-add for me versus the Spurs. He has been unreal. I picked him up in a league this week, and I couldn't believe his performance against Toronto. That surpasses all expectations when you get a guy like this, Skiddy.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. He's been absolutely out of his mind right now. He's shooting something ridiculous from three as well since he's been giving the consistent minutes. Playing so well. So definitely can be. Anunoby and Randall both still out. Alec Burks is game time. We saw Mitchell Robinson coming back in, which kind of brought down the minutes of Isaiah Hartenstein. So that's one to watch there. But, geez, this Knicks team is just rolling so well together. They look so solid and have so much faith in each other. So I'd probably back the Knicks in to win this one here. For the Spurs, Keldon Johnson's game time decision. I'm not looking for much from the Spurs. I think they're just going to give us what they give us. Could be a good test for Wemby today. But, I'm going with the Knicks.
How about you there, Kingy?
Yeah, I think the Knicks win. I'm more, betting in this one is a bit tricky as well because if it's a blowout, we could see a little bit more of like a Precious Achiuwa. I'm interested if it is competitive to see what the minute split or what the rotation looks like with Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. I had plenty of questions about Hartenstein, whether he's a hold now that Mitchell Robinson's back, and I think he is for now. But it's hard to know because their last game they won by 44, I think, or 45 or something. So the minutes are probably not reflective of what it might look like most nights. In saying that, Tom Thibodeau does tend to roll these guys out there, even if they are winning by 40 points. So, it'd be interesting to see. Betting-wise, though, as you said, McBride has just been playing basically the whole game. So, and Jeremy Sohan has been pretty good lately. Yeah. So there's a drop-off coming. It could be tonight where he shoots 2 of 12 and gets you nothing. I don't know. Wemby blocks, I guess, I don't know, over 3 blocks or something because the Knicks do tend to bang inside a little bit more than other teams with Hartenstein and now Mitchell Robinson there. So
play steals and blocks.
Something.
Yeah. So 3 blocks, 2 blocks?
2 blocks, definitely. I think he gets at least 2.
2's $1.07, but not a bad cheeky one. And Miles McBride, I thought, you know what, surely there's been an uptick on points for him. He's going for 29, 13, 26, 11. So I look for about 15 points. He's at $1.52.
Nice.
So I think that's do we think that's nice, Skiddy?
Yeah, I'm happy to take McBride. I think he's going to be the one that's going to get the extra. He's been shown to be the one that's getting the extra minutes, even if that has been a blowout. So against the Raptors, he still played 40. And they won by 44. And so they still were happy to roll out Miles McBride. I
was worried that I wasn't going to get any more out of him for the day when I saw how much they were up. And then I looked on app later on and he was still out there playing. And I was like, Thank you, Tom. 12.5 points plus $1.27. So there's not a lot of faith of him going up against the New York Nets defense. So I'm going to back that in there. Against the Spurs defense. So I'm going to back him over that 12.5 for $1.27 because I think that's a nice little return. No other pickups, but like you said, if it's a blowout, Precious Achiuwa could probably be more impactful in this game as an ad, but nothing to really vote of confidence on at this point in time. 3 left to go, Minnesota and Denver. Questionable Anthony Edwards. Now this is a game because Jamal Murray is questionable. And Edwards is questionable. And has been questionable all week, so he'll play. Gobert is questionable. Jokic probable. This is one of the games of the day, surely.
Yep, absolutely. Couldn't agree more there, mate. No pickups for mine unless you want to try and bank on McDaniels. If Naz Reid is still on your wire, give him a crack. Really, really like this game, and the only thing I will take is try bet 5. That is the only thing I will take.
I will back you on try. You love your try bet 5. Since I saw your face, now I'm a believer.
It is so they have that so far out. 8.5 points, especially if it is a close game, they stop fouling after 6. So as long as it gets to 6 or 7 or 8, they're happy to just let the clock run out at the end there. They have it so far out, and that's why I love it so much.
It's 8 points or less, $2 today.
Correct. Yeah. So I love that.
Done. It's on. It's on there, Skiddy.
Nice.
$2. It's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone ads wise? Kingy wants to, but hey, we're playing with our money, Skiddy. This is our money. He can get to tell us how to spend our money.
I don't care. I don't care when you've got someone so knowledgeable sitting right there. Like, if you're asking about how Australia is going as a whole, I have no fucking idea. But if the Prime Minister's there, then I'll ask him. He has a pretty good idea.
This is true. Tell us where to spend our money, Kingy. Tell us where to put the stock in trade.
I wouldn't be confident on the Prime Minister knowing what's going on in Australia.
That's actually a great point.
Look, I'd just keep an eye on Anthony Edwards. I do think he probably plays, but this is a new injury that he's questionable with tonight. So it's a back injury.
Oh, it's back spasms today.
Yeah, so I just monitor that. I do think he plays because he does tend to push through almost everything. So, yeah, I think it's probably still 80% chance that he ends up suiting up. But just because this is a back injury, it's not the ankle, it's not the nose thing or face, whatever it's been.
The dislocated
finger,
thing,
yeah, that's right, from the dump.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye on that. But yeah, look, in terms of betting, if both teams are fully healthy, Cat's obviously not there, but I do think that the Timberwolves would view this as a game where they could really make a statement and prove to people that we're for real this season. So yeah, it should be a fun one.
It should be. And again, what is it? One of the biggest collusions, because we did chop up I did chop up the dunk of the year with Mally on the Tuesday show, and he doesn't connect with the rim. And yeah, he stops for a second. He kind of mean mugs and stares down Collins. And then he's like, oh, my hand, out of nowhere. And then it was like, oh, my hand. And it was almost like it was an excuse to walk away from him instead of like looking down at John Collins, because he never connected with the rim. I'm just wondering what that injury is from.
It was his offhand, I believe.
Yeah, his offhand on Collins.
It was the hand that pushed John Collins into
the
face.
Yeah, it was that one.
Because then I saw him looking at the other hand, and I had no idea what to make of the injury. So I was like, are they just trying to pass it off that he's done something to? Anyway, I was very curious of that. I thought it was interesting reporting. That's locked in. Try bet 5, but this is without a doubt one of the games of the day. And like you said, it could be a statement game in the NBA. Like the Timberwolves, look, and if this is the case, we could probably see questionable Rudy Gobert. Maybe he doesn't play. Maybe they're just like calling each other's general managers and being like, are you guys going to rest Jokic and Murray? If you're going to, and we see both of these guys, their top 2 players in each team in these positions not play. It could be a dead horse. It could be a race at the end of the day. Who knows? Up next, Houston and Utah. Questionable is Larry Markkinen on the injury report, but playing is Chris Dunn for Utah as well. But the Houston Rockets absolutely surging, Skidmore. Your Mrs. favorite team.
Yes. My fiance does go for the Houston Rockets purely because she loves Jalen Green. And then she's been going with him. She started going for him when Harden was there, and she loved Harden, but now he's obviously gone. So now she's a full flight of Jalen Green. And how bloody good has he been over the past couple of weeks? Absolutely on fire. Last time they played was a week ago. Houston won 147-119 while they've been on this massive 10-game run. Jalen Green had 41, so I will be pretty happy with backing in Jalen Green for some points again today. They've just looked fantastic. Given the keys to the kingdom to Jalen while Şengün's been out. And yeah, I really I like how they're playing ball at the moment. So especially if Markkanen's out, then yeah, I'll be banking in Jalen for let's say 25, 30 points and Houston to win the game. So that's where 25 I go with points.
I was going to ask if you wanted that. Jalen Green, 25 plus points, $1.39 in the kitty.
Nice.
Good shout. Anyone you like in here for an ads today, wise, Kingy?
No, not really. I don't know. It could be a little bit of a danger game for Houston. I think if Markkanen plays, the Jazz are pretty healthy, other than Jordan Clarkson. And yeah, I think Houston will get it done, but they're on this run, and as Skiddy said, Jalen Green has been phenomenal. There's going to be a bad game coming. I don't know when it is, but we know Jalen Green. We've seen him for 4 years, and this is not sustainable. Well, at least we don't think it is. So, yeah, maybe a danger game for them, but I still think they probably get it done. Markkanen is probably the big question mark there. If he plays, he makes a difference. If he doesn't play, then their scoring is pretty limited with no Markkanen or Jordan Clarkson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly touch on I've seen it a lot on everyone saying like, oh, we've seen this a lot of Jalen Green hasn't been able to sustain this or anything like that. I put that down, and I think it's a massive part. Houston now have experience on the roster. They all say how good Fred VanVleet is as a leader. They now have defense on the roster as well now. They've got, the backing from Dylan Brooks on pretty much everything they do, which gives them confidence to be able to go out there and do what they do. I think a massive part of it as well was the fact that they had a dog shit coach ever since Jalen Green got there in Silas. And now they actually have a competent coach, a competent team, leadership, and, backing. Instead of asking Jalen Green to do it all, as a rookie or a sophomore, they're actually now just being like, hey, we'll go out there, do your thing, we'll back you. And they've got someone to actually tell them where to be and what to do and everything like that. So I think it's actually clicking quite well for the Rockets at the moment with the team that they have structured.
I think you're spot on, Skiddy, and I heard this a lot earlier. I think it was in a Bill Simmons podcast. They were talking about Emi Udoka and the influence that he has on his younger players, and they look back at the time where he was with the Boston Celtics as well. And we all know what he did with this team, took him to a finals, huge. Mm-hmm. But we have to remember the beginning of that Boston Celtics run as well wasn't great. People were asking if it was the right team. It wasn't good, and there needed to be an adult in the room, and it took time to gel and coalesce. And everything we've started to hear was that it was a little bit like they weren't sure what they were walking into with this situation. It was new. And he's instilled, you can see him yelling at Jalen Green on the court, like, you're a fucking idiot. You've done this. You can see him go, and then he'll pull him aside and you can see him put his hand on his shoulder and mentor him, give him support and lift him up, unlike what we haven't seen from Steven Silas. And I agree. This is not sustainable. In the last 2 weeks, Jalen Green has been the 9th best fantasy player. So unless you plan on drafting him in 9 cat leagues, he's number 9. So unless you intend on drafting him in the first round next year, 100% completely unsustainable. But is he a shitload better than what he has been? 100%. And that's awesome. And I reckon your 25 points is on. We know a drop-off is coming, but then again, we can say this about any single player. And if you think about the drop-off from 42 points to 26, well, that's also where your expectations. If you're going to expect Jalen Green to go out and get you 32 a game, and he gets you 25, well, he's done a pretty bloody good job. So time to give Jalen Green some flowers for once in our lives. Let's give Jalen Green some flowers this fantasy season. Our last game of the day is the Dallas Mavericks versus the Sacramento Kings. This is a very, very interesting one. Standings are at play in this as well. So we know that this is one of those ones. When you look at it, Sacramento's on 42 wins. The Mavs are at 43 wins. There is only one game that separates them, and this is an equalizer game. We know the Kings have some equalizer games, and the Mavs next week with their slate, they've got those equalizer games with Golden State and Houston around the corner as well. Kingy, I'll ask you first this one. Who do you like the most in this?
Should be another good game. Dallas basically need to keep winning to try and avoid that play-in bunch there, and I don't think you want to be in that bunch of 4 teams because at the moment it's Phoenix, Sacramento, Lakers, and Warriors, and they're 4 really good teams. So, I think Luka is questionable. I don't think there's been an upgrade or an update on his availability yet. So, I'm thinking he probably plays. He does tend to play. He was at shoot around, so he probably plays tonight, which means both teams are relatively healthy, other than obviously Kevin Huerter, who was ruled out for the season earlier today, which I think we knew was coming anyway. Look, should be a good one. In terms of who I'd be targeting,
Keon Ellis?
I don't know. Could be a Malik Monk bounce back game. He's been pretty rough the last little bit, and he tends to go up and down a lot. So maybe this is the game where he turns it around and can hit some shots.
Do love that Keon Ellis shout. He's come in as a nice little steady function for the Sacramento Kings. Skiddy, 100% backing on that one. Good source of some points, some threes, and some steals there.
Yeah, I don't mind him for steals. Maybe on the Mavericks side. I mean, it's Luka and it's Kyrie basically doing all the scoring, but Tim Hardaway has been on a bit of a tear last few games.
Yep.
So maybe he's there, and Gafford for something. I don't know. I feel like he's been playing good. He's been out there. I mean, he's secured that starting spot. He was probably overachieving a little bit. The last game was a bit down. I was going to say rebounds, but it's hard with Luka there because Luka often leads the team in rebounds.
With that Westbrook energy.
Yeah. The way they run that offense is they want Gafford and they want Lively. They want these guys just clearing space under the basket for Luka to get the rebound so he can start the offense quickly. I don't know. Gafford blocks, although his blocks are over there. I don't know. I think it's just a tight game, so it's hard to know. There's nothing that really jumps off the page here for me.
Mm-hmm. The only mismatch I kind of see is Derrick Jones is a reasonable defender, but I do think Keegan Murray in a game like this, with the amount of emphasis that's going to be put on guys like Sabonis, and Fox, I do think Keegan can have a decent game for some points and threes. If you're looking at, like, I know there's a way to stream, but maybe some threes on a betting market could be it. But I'm not there. And also, here's some news that's just dropped in. Houston wants to take big swing in the trade market this summer and could trade 2 stars. News that's come down the wire. Here we go. Wow. I'm popping it right now. This has been just reported from ESPN. The Houston Rockets could be considering trading Alperen Şengün and Jalen Green because they want to make a big swing in the trade market, reported by Tim McManaman. I don't know if both Şengün and Green are going to be here long term. My guess, and I emphasize guess, is that one or the other would end up getting moved at some point to the team when they take their big swing.
Interesting.
And we just spoke about those guys.
If you wanted to trade Jalen Green, now's the time to do it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
so,
yeah. And I mean, also Şengün is a good good trade piece. You could get valuable stuff back for Şengün.
You could, and if you think back to the start of the season, they were chasing Brook Lopez. So that was our concern coming into the season, was how do they view Şengün here? And he's been amazing. But maybe they still don't think that he is someone that can get them over the hump and get them into that sort of title discussion.
Sorry. I 100% agree with you guys, but I just think it's outrageous for the Rockets that the best player in the NBA for the past 4 years is Nikola Jokic, right?
Yeah.
Şengün, if he puts on more muscle, has that game style that Jokic has. Like, if they build the team correctly around him, at the same way that the Nuggets did for Jokic, like, he's going to be unbelievable. He's so good. Teams are like shit scared of coming up against Alperen Şengün. They've said it openly how good he is, and I
agree with
Cleveland.
You. I am not going to disagree with you whatsoever. I'm all for it. But if let's do the trade piece. Let's do the trade value piece of the Houston Rockets starting 5 right now. Who's number 1 on the trade value list?
Şengün.
Okay, so if you're going to make a big swing to get a couple of big pieces, you could you could use that chip. I don't agree with it necessarily. But you could get a really nice piece back for that, and extras, and a lot of draft capital.
I would think they'd be able to get an all-star if they were trading Şengün away. He should have been an all-star this year.
That's all I'm saying. So that's all I'm saying. So I see it in the premise, but also to trade both of those guys on a small game sample like this, like, hey, let's take 10 wins and see what we got here. I think it's very, very presumptuous, but it is interesting because we have heard of them talk about trading Şengün. We have heard of them talk about trading Jalen Green in the past. I think it's interesting timing that this comes out with this week and the matchups that are to come. I think that's a very interesting reporting piece time, especially after this 10-game win streak. I think that's just very, very, very curious. Maybe someone's a Warriors fan and wants to maybe McManaman is a Warriors fan and wants to upset the apple cart. So the bit of team disharmony. We got one more question here. Do we think the Rockets would sit Green at any point this year to keep him healthy? No. I think they're playing for that 10 spot.
Yeah,
maybe Jeff Green.
Yeah. Oh, look, maybe if there's a week to go and they're sort of out of that race, like they could very well go on a run here of 2 or 3 straight losses. The Warriors might win a couple, so that might be that they're just mathematically eliminated with 3 games to go. At that point, maybe if they are looking to trade him and he's still been putting up 30 points a night, maybe they say this is our time that we need him healthy. We need teams to remember what he's been doing.
Yeah.
So maybe, but at this point, no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that.
I would agree with that as well. And look, they've got a lot of money on the books next year, a lot of contracts and a lot of players that are around. And we also got to remember, this is a team that we haven't seen pretty much for the entire year with Cam Whitmore and Tara Eason getting minutes the entire time. They could fill into that small forward spot. Jabari looks really nice as this long, smallish ball 5. He's come alive right now. Fred VanVleet's playing well. The Houston Rockets are just a shitload of fun to watch right now in this current incarnation. I just think it's great watching them play basketball. And it's been great joining all you boys this morning over a breakfast and a coffee. Thanks for jumping on early. I am down here on the New South Wales Victorian border of Albury-Wodonga, and I packed the standard squeeze in the car, by the way. I packed the 4-in-1 up in the cup down here. It was absolutely brilliant. Big shout out to our friends for this traveler. If you don't know what it is, you can keep your stubbies. There's yours. There's your black one. I bought the pink one down here. You got your coffee in it. You can put your stubby in it. You can get absolutely sorted. Make sure you use promo code INSIDE15 to get a hold of one of those. You get some hats, some apparel. It's all good. It's all down here. Kingy, thank you. And of course, you beautiful devil who woke up early with me this morning to do this. It was like I rolled out of bed and there was Skiddy. Thank you so much, my man.
You got it. Any single time. Hey, make sure you give a shout out, FBI Fantasy Basketball. Everyone already knows where they
I was going to ask you. What's coming, Kingy? Yeah, what's coming, Kingy?
What's he got going?
Mock
draft?
Yeah, what's coming? Look, there will be another mock draft at some point. It'll be, I've got 4 leagues wrapping up this week. So once they're done, we might do that. We've got a early potential top 12 sort of thing coming out next week where I've gone to a whole heap of analysts and got their early top 12. So I'll be putting that, compiling that list. And
would you like me to ruin mine now and tell Skiddy to get his immediate feedback live?
If you want to, sure.
I'm happy to share because it was the list based on what we thought the other day where we think guys could go. And this is much as my first thoughts takeaway, because I've been sketching out my top 20. So my big thing is my top 20. So my 10 to 10, 11, 12 is variable. And this was based on the draft we did the other day. So I went with, that went back real deep. I went with, because I know you're doing a consensus, I went with Jokic number 1 still for me.
Okay.
Wemby, SGA, Luka, Hallie, AD, Embiid, Kawhi, Tatum, Kyrie, KD, and Chet.
Okay.
Yep.
That's my gut. That's just for now, and that's going to change at the end of the season when I look at it. But that was 3 weeks to go, Kingy last week. So with 3 weeks to go, that's where I am. And I think the biggest bumps there are guys like AD. Biggest fall is Embiid, but apparently he's recovered very, very well. And the talk around it is this won't impede him much. So I think I'll probably pull up Embiid more into that 5 spot around Hallie and drop Hallie down a little bit from where I'm thinking.
No.
Maybe there's a switch there.
Did you have no Giannis in your top 12?
No. He's 13. He was 13. In fact, I actually had him at 11 at one point because when Kingy asked this, I had it all sketched down. I had Giannis there, but I'm just thinking again over the season, the turnovers, the free throw percentage, it does knock him a little bit out. I love Giannis. I think he's a great player and a great first rounder, but I couldn't put him there with how these guys have gone and what I could see back from them next season. Kyrie's been incredible. KD is still elite. Chet and him were the guys who I was thinking about. Where do I go? Who is it? Is it Chet or is it them? Yeah. First thoughts on the list, boys? Go for it. Or if in chat, if you're listening, what do you think? First thoughts on the list?
Yeah, I mean, like first thing that stood out to me was the fact that there was no Giannis. Your top 7 is pretty much the same as mine, just in a different order. So I don't mind that. I would happily put Giannis in my. I have Giannis in my top 12, just punting free throw percentage because I couldn't give a shit. So it does not bother me. I think the other positions that the other categories that he excels in is just more valuable than me having to worry about that. Kyrie's an interesting one. I don't mind it. I think it's like once you get past the top, I think it's the top 7. I think they're pretty well locked. And then after that, there's probably about the guys that you said, plus Spider, Giannis, these kind of guys where you can be like, they can kind of interchange as it's a fairer amount. But yeah, I don't mind it.
Kingy?
Yeah, no, I think it's a few consensus sort of picks there. Like I think the top 3 are pretty set at this point. I think Luka is going to be number 4 in just about every draft. And then you go into your Embiid, Halliburton, range, Tatum fairly safe there in around that 7 to 9. Giannis, look, he'll be in there for some people and not for others because he obviously has a couple of pretty glaring holes in his fantasy game. So for some people that bumps him down a bit. Interestingly, no Steph, no Dame, which I think is where a lot of people are going. I think they're going to go mid-second round next year. D-Mac and I actually discussed last night. We did our player matchup thing for next season, and my matchup was Dame or Steph. Who are you taking first next year? And we both went with Dame. Steph. I'm not going to say Steph is washed or done or anything like that, but he's like top 80 over the last month or something, top 50 over the last 2 weeks. He's not the player he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The Warriors, it's going to be really interesting actually to see what the Warriors do this offseason, because if they want to keep Steph in a position where he can maybe win one more title, they're going to have to change that roster up because they're not winning with who they've got at the moment. So they'll be an interesting team to monitor. Over the offseason.
I said it in chat last night. I managed to catch a little bit of the show while away. There's this point where smaller guards just reach this. It's like, do you guys remember the Price? Like, is it Price is Right? Back in the day, there was the yodeling guy.
Yeah.
You know how you used to have to stop the yodeling guy as close to the point? Like, can you remember this one? You go, yodel, 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 and then it would just hit this point and it would just fall off the edge. We've just found this historically with small guards. Like, they reach that point where they've had their elite peak, but the decline is like the brakes get hit really quickly. And I feel that that's coming for these guys. And the thing is, they're still going to be great. They're still going to be elite. It doesn't mean they're washed. It just means what we could expect of that first. I mean, even saying that Steph is outside the top 6 or top 7 after this season seems like egregious, because that's where he was going. His ADP was like top 8, So I think we see this, and when it happens, we notice it and it's glaring, and then it tempers down to a certain level of return. So yeah, I think it's on the horizon with both of them. They're both small guards. They get beaten up. And look how they play as well. These guys get to the rim, like they take a beating on their bodies over time. And I know they're both shooters and elite, but the other work that they do is a lot. So I think we're at that point. So we can look forward to that from Kingy and FBIR Basketball. We've got Skiddy on the AFL show this week doing God's work, great work with Mickey Dell and Herbie there, mate. Loving the show. I catch a little bit of it. I don't understand half it. I love the show. I don't understand half the names that you refer to, but I enjoy listening to it and hearing your voices on the way and tell me everything I need to for the AFL. And of course, you can like and subscribe to all things Insight. Carmody, if you're still there, make sure you DM me right now on X to get into our Discord Unlimited. Don't forget you can join that. The link is below. Make sure you like and subscribe to all things Inside Fantasy Sport. Take care, everyone. And happy Easter from myself, Skiddy, and the whole team. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.